the biggest game on the schedule this Saturday. That was Texas at Alabama. That's number 11 Texas at number 3 Alabama. And yeah, Texas pulled off the upset 34-24. Fascinating and fun game. Let me get that off the rip. I really enjoyed watching these two Texas quarterbacks go at it. I think the world of Jalen Milroe. I have since he left Katy. I think the world of Quinn Ewers, especially the transformation that he's gone through with his body and his abilities. He doesn't look shook. Both of those guys throw a remarkably accurate deep ball, and it is really fun to see them throw darts down the field. But a couple things that we got to point to here. Alabama's offensive line had a difficult time blocking Texas's front seven. I don't think that many people, not naming, expected them to have a hard time blocking Texas's front seven. I don't tend to look at this as Alabama's offensive line as being bad. I tend to look at this as Texas's front seven being good. I understand you get 5 sacks to the quarterback. You have through 2 interceptions. You're going to have people talking about how bad the offensive line is. But I will say Jalen Milroe is probably playing behind the same sort of offensive line that Jalen Hurts was playing behind in 2016. And both Jalen Hurts and Jalen Milroe had a tendency to just hold the ball. If the ball isn't gone after 2 claps and you still back there trying to figure it out, that's on you, quarterback. That's not on the offensive line. I say that as a quarterback. You got to get rid of the football. And when Jalen Milroe was able to get rid of the football, it was really fluid and it was really fun to watch. But you could also see why he was a starting quarterback at Alabama. He can move around and do things that other guys just can't do. He will make you right in the way that Bryce Young would make you right. He's just not as accurate and as polished as Bryce Young was in 2021, let alone 2022. But he's got time, and I think he's going to grow into the role. But even to take that much time to talk about what the Alabama offense was doing doesn't really do justice to what the Texas offense was doing every single time they had an opportunity to counter, right? There were moments in this game where Texas could have folded, and I thought that they might. But Quinn Ewers kept staying calm, kept staying cool, kept following the process, right? They had some really fortunate bounces their way. I've never seen a quarterback sneak where the quarterback did not actually possess the ball. And not only that, it gets all the way to the tailback's like, cool, I'll pick it up. I'll go get us the first down on fourth down from our own 48, a play that could have swayed the game. And then the very next play, he throws a pass, gets batted in the air, Quinn Ewers, and he catches the ball and manages to get some forward progress on it. That was the moment when I'm also going, okay, if anything told me Texas was going to win tonight, it was those 2 plays that went their way. He also looked sharp. 24 of 38 for 349, 3 TDs, 0 interceptions. And this game went the way that I thought it would have went last year if Ewers was healthy last year in this game. Texas would have won. It even had Bert Auburn missing a field goal that absolutely mattered. So you got the 1-1. And the game looks similar. The difference was Quinn Ewers played in this game in the second half, and he didn't in last year's. And you got a 10-point margin of victory on the road to show for it. Been saying Texas is back. I haven't run from saying Texas is back. I picked Texas to win the Big 12. I'm an Oklahoma fan. All right? I'm doing this with my football brain, not my heart. Although we're going to get to it. Oklahoma was doing something to my heart earlier tonight. We'll get to it. Stay with Texas, Alabama. We'll get to it. I'm saying all this to tell you that Texas is for real. Now, they're going to move up in my ranking, and I'm sure they're going to move up in the Associated Press polls ranking, but I didn't have Alabama at number 3 in the first place. I thought that was an overreaction to a Middle Tennessee game that, frankly, many of the people that were voting did not watch. And that was why I felt good about my pick for Texas. I watched them against Rice, and I watched Alabama against Middle Tennessee because that's my job here. We do rankings on this show, and the only way that I can do rankings well is if I'm watching all top 25 teams or teams that could make the top 25 play football. 127 games were played, or 127 teams played games today. I had my eyes on a bunch of them. And that's why I'm confident in some of these things. And when I could see a guy like Tavion Sanders showing out in the second half going, I'll carry us, get on my back, fellas. 5 catches, 114 yards from the tight end position. Again, I can't be more impressed by the Texas defense with those 5 sacks and those 2 interceptions and really being able to seal the deal against an Alabama team that wanted to run the ball and on defense was flying around. They have some dudes in that defense. Terrion Arnold was as good as he was bad at times. They missed Caleb Downs, and you could see where I saw how a freshman was integral to what they were doing on the back end. But every now and again, they'd have a guy like Dallas Turner turn around and make a play, right? I think Alabama is still going to be good, and I picked them to finish in the college football playoff because I thought they could lose this game, still make the SEC championship, and still get into the college football playoff based on the strength of that league and following the eye test. One of the things that I don't say enough about how we do these rankings and how we're looking at these games and how we evaluate teams off of a loss is it's not just what do they look like in pads or what does the talent composite tell us. It is, hey, if all things are going well for this team, do you trust them to beat the other team? So a great example of this is knowing that Georgia ain't played nobody, Paul, and knowing that Michigan ain't played nobody, Paul. If Georgia and Michigan lined up today, who do you think would win? That's how you should do your rankings, right? And if you can make yourself believe one way or the other, that is how you should do your rankings. Everybody knows who shouldn't be in the top 25. But when you go ask people to write it down, all of a sudden they get to lock up. Although I'm going to have Texas inside of my top 10. I can already see that one coming. I'll be curious to see what the Associated Press does when we do this show on Sunday afternoon for you on Sunday afternoon. Great win for the University of Texas. Great win for Steve Sarkisian, who becomes, well, I believe just the third Nick Saban assistant to beat him. And he did it in Tuscaloosa. Quinn Ewers did something that only Joe Burrow has done in the last 4 years, and that was a national championship team in LSU 2019. Outstanding win. Bama gets South Florida after this game, and Texas gets Wyoming, where they should be, I think, moved to 3-0 and be very much feeling themselves going into the Big 12 schedule. Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.